Is your lower back beat up and yet you still want to grow a massive back? Let me show you exactly how to do it. All right, guys and girls, if you've been a fan or follower of this channel, one of my most successful videos ever was this one. I'll get Chad to tag it. It's how to train and get a massive chest with a beat up shoulder. So I want to do that exact same thing, but I want to do it for a lower back now. And that is very near and dear to my heart because since the age of 23, I tore my lower erector on my left side, and my back and spine has never been the same. I used to squat and rip deadlifts and rack pulls and bent rows, T-bar rows. I didn't have to even think twice about it. And ever since that moment, I had to do an altered form of training. Now, it took me into my 30s until I got really smart and said, hey, like, let's stop doing things that injure you through the help of John. But what I thought I would take to do in this video is I'm gonna show you the tenets of a solid back workout that'll hit it from top to bottom, but safely protect your lower back, specifically your spine. So let's go through each one of these and I'll explain why I would choose it. So the first thing we're gonna do is some sort of pull down. And the reason I like doing pull downs is not only to kind of get us warmed up, but it's to elongate our spine. So when we're in the stretch position of a lat pull down, it's going to lengthen our spine. The weight's pulling us up, the lat pad is pulling us down. So it's actually gonna help decompress our spine at the beginning of the session. So if you had to sit all day at work, if you work like manual labor and you had to do a lot of lifting, throwing mulch, throwing gravel, lifting up tailgates, all that kind of stuff, your lower back might be tired and compressed. So what we wanna do is we wanna lengthen that bad boy, and we're gonna do it with a lat pull down. So I love Swiss bar, pull downs, mag grip. Even the traditional lat bar I do like. That's more a little bit more for upper lat, upper back, so to speak, than the neutral grip. But any of those variations are gonna be incredible. So I wanna start with a lat pull down, and I'm gonna do probably 2 or 3 warm-ups of sets of 10 to 15. I'm gonna do a couple feeder sets and then get to either a top set and a back off, or I'm gonna do like maybe 15, 12, 10 for my work sets, depending upon if it's a volume day or it's a lower volume, higher intensity day. So exercise 1 is gonna be a lat pull down. Number 2, I really like a machine row here. It's gonna be a chest supported row. So that way I have a pad to brace into. My lower back takes 0 beating and I can load this thing heavy as hell. So my 2 GOAT for this, if you're speaking in hammer strength, I like the DY row. I like the isolateral row that hammer strength makes. If you've ever seen us do a Cybex neutral grip row, another great piece here at Elite. If you're fortunate enough to have the Prime equipment, man, it's a playground with those two. So I either like the extreme row or just the normal seated row. Both of those feel really great from Prime. You can do a neutral, semi-supinated, and just drill that back and focus on nothing but elbows behind and elbows down. So again, you can safely row and row heavy here because again, and if you're gonna be in a bent over position, where most guys, and early in my bodybuilding career, I would, coming off lat pull downs, I would jump right into a barbell row, right into a T-bar row. Both of those are gonna be hard to load if your spine is severely injured, or you have a herniated disc, or it's just spasming, or you just want to protect it and be preventative, honestly. So with this seated chest supported row, that's gonna be my number 2 in rotation. Very similar to exercise 1, I like top set, I like back off, I like a rest pulse here, or you could do volume if it's a pump day, so 12, 10, 8. All right, now we're getting to a meat and potatoes exercise. I like some sort of a 1-arm free weight row. So step 4 dumbbell rows, a normal dumbbell row, 1-arm barbell row, meadows row. Any of those work really, really well. And the reason I like the 1-arm is I can brace on my non-working side. So if I'm rolling my right arm, I can brace with my left hand on my left knee, elbow on the knee, elbow on the thigh, and that's gonna help support my back. So for me, no matter the injury that I sustained over the course of my career, and I've had 3 back injuries over the course of bodybuilding for 20 years, these rows have always felt good and safe for me. I don't know why. I can load it heavy, no issues. As long as my form is tight and I'm not getting a ton of like spinal flexion or extension, I'm good. So with this free weight row, I definitely like a top set and a back off here. It just works well. It allows me to go heavy and then pull back down the weight and really focus on spot on, drive back, squeeze the lat, squeeze the back, make it work. And then again, be perfectly safe with every exercise that I'm choosing so far. So pull down, seated row, and then going into a free weight row. That's gonna be like what I would consider the meat and potatoes. All right, last up for the back. Now, we have a bunch of different options that we can do here. I like to go back to another pull down since I've done 2 rows in a row. 2 rows in a row. If you wanna think about this, like I did 1 vertical pull and I did 2 horizontal rows or pulls. So I wanna do back to a vertical. This can be a bunch of different variations. We can do a straight arm pull down, which you normally see me start with. You could do another pull down, just use a different grip. So let's say you use the normal Swiss bar, you could come in, do narrow. You could do a straight bar, you could do a mag grip. Honestly, anything, a semi-supinated, like with an easy bar, works really, really well there. And then another idea for a pull down, I know it's gonna look like a row, and they're called Dante rows, but it really to me is a pull down. So it's vertically pulling because I'm gonna take my body, go parallel to the ground, and then row the rope to me. So I like any of those variations here. And again, all these are gonna be safe. It's gonna be a great exercise to really drill my back and finish it off before I get into my erectors. And then final thing here for my lower back, because we do have to train that, guys. The common exercise is gonna be deadlifts from the floor, rack pulls, and listen, those two are bangers. I love those exercises, they feel great. But the problem is if you have a beat up low back, the probability for injury is very high, at least to load it heavy enough to get growth. So what I really like in its place here, guys, is if your gym is fortunate enough to have a reverse hyper, please God, use this. 2 sets, 3 sets of 20 to 25. I love this. If you don't have a reverse hyper, you can do a regular hyper extension. You can do it with a barbell, you can do it with a dumbbell, you can do it with bands. All great options. But let's say you also add you another one in there. If you're working out in a home gym and you need something to protect your spine, I really like dumbbell good mornings. So any of those three are gonna be great options to really maximally tax your lower back, but then at the same time, do it safely. So if you look at that workout in its totality, pull down, row, row, pull down, low back. The final piece I wanna add here before wrapping this video up is I'm a big believer in training abs at the end of your back exercises. One, that's gonna help loosen up your lower back after this erector work, so you won't going home with crampy erectors driving across town. Listen, I've been there. But then also, it's the antagonistic muscle to the spine. So if you think about the erectors on the back side of the body, protecting the spine, you're gonna do the muscles on the front side, so that's our abs. So I really like to finish with either hanging leg raises, crunches, and then some vacuum holds. So that's gonna work the abs that we all think about, but then we're also gonna work the TVA underneath with the vacuum. So a full throttle approach there to your entire back section to keep everything healthy with your spine, keep you progressing and growing and having fun, because listen, no one likes to be injured. Not me, not you. So my job is to keep you growing and healthy, and that's exactly how I would train back if you have a beat up spine. If you like the video, like, share, and subscribe. Chris TV.